Hey y'all, peace. Welcome back. I'm about to ruffle some feathers. Look at this. I was walking down the street and I just seen this patch of land. Looks like nobody been walking over here for a minute. It's just been growing wild. So I thought, and the cool thing, well, I don't know if it's cool, but interesting thing about Hawaii is that there's no snakes or large predators, and there's really not a lot of shit that can harm you. So it's like, there's not that much to worry about. Because look at my feet are in here. It's a bunch of stuff growing. They probably didn't even let this grow out too long before it grew this much. But I just want to walk over here and see what's over here. Yeah, but I want to talk about something that I have been thinking about for a long time. Really early on in my journey, I started noticing, and I think it's important. I think a lot of people need to hear this, and most people are just blind to this perspective because for a lot of people coming into veganism, it's real fresh. It's something fresh, so it's something new, and they think, it's the end all be all, basically, and they just basically vegan, and they think as long as they're vegan that they're gonna, be healthy, or that it's just the end all for humans and humanity. But a long time ago, I made a video called Veganism is a Byproduct of Civilization. So the reason I put veganism equals Babylon is because really without Babylon, veganism doesn't exist. There is no known tribes or people who have subsisted solely on plant foods. Every single tribe that has ever been known and observed and that we know of has consumed in some way animal products. So no tribe that you know of, or no indigenous people in the world, in no parts of the world, eat just plants. So the only time you will ever observe veganism is as in conjunction with civilization, in conjunction with Babylon. The only time veganism exists is through Babylon. Paranama Surya, you said nah, but okay, I'm just saying what we can observe. If you have a tribe, if you know of a tribe, let me know, because I have never heard it. I've been looking into people who eat just plants, plant-based tribes, indigenous tribes who have been doing it for long periods of time. I'm talking generation after generation, and who have the proof and genetics to prove that they've done this. It does not exist, and if you can show me proof, I'm definitely love to look into that, because I have not been able to find it. Even there's tribes in the Amazon, Ecuador, Brazil, that eat a large portion of plants, but they still maybe once a week will consume an animal product, and they might hunt an animal. And so I know that's not it's not realistic, because everybody that's vegan, everybody that's talking shit, promoting veganism, depends on a grocery store. They depend on people growing their food. They depend on a system that has been constructed off of the backs of slavery, off of oppression, off of all of this. And so veganism is in conjunction with Babylon. If you don't have Babylon, you don't have no veganism. These tribes over here, look, let me tell you something. When you truly in tune with nature, plants and animals and all life represents the same thing. You don't look at life plants and animals differently. When you so in tune with nature, you're in a different world. Veganism is just another box that they're trying to put you in. Why you think they were pushing it so hard? Why you think everything on today has vegan on it, a label vegan on it? Even shit that you know doesn't have any animal products in it, they'll put vegan on it just because they know that your ass is in a box and that you're more likely to buy it if they put vegan on it. You know, so it's another box, and they put you in a box and you put yourself in a box, because we come out of boxes, we put ourselves in a boxes. But when you, I'm telling you, when you really in tune with nature and you don't have no cell phone, you don't have nobody telling you how to eat, and you got to stay alive and survive, and you in tune with the environment, a plant is as sacred to you as an animal is. And you don't differentiate the two. You don't discriminate and apply your morals to the situation, because you got to do what you got to do to survive. And the closer the animal is to looking like you, the more empathy you'll have, the more you might feel the more of a connection. But at the end of the day, you do what you got to do to survive and feed the tribe, right? But it's a different way of approaching it. I'm not saying just go out and eat burgers. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying that we have to be aware, because just think about it. If there was no grocery stores, if there was nobody providing anything for you, how good could you do being vegan? How easy would it be if you can't go to the store to pick up some nutritional yeast or some nuts and seeds, or be able to purchase something that we have the ease nowadays to purchase? So you got to think about that. Is this something that's sustainable long term? And I'm not saying that it might not be, but I'm just saying in your mind, you are so easily misled to believe something because it sounds good, right? It always sounds good. Like people always find a way to present their ideologies in a way, in a light that sounds about right. Like that sounds like it makes sense. I don't want to hurt any animals. These animals are suffering. But wait, just because there's a wrong way to do it, that don't mean that there is a right way to do it. Like, okay, let me tell you something. People in civilization, yes, they eat burgers, they eat meat from cows that have been treated horribly and animals that have been treated horribly. But indigenous people also eat meat. The difference is they eat meat that's been wild, meaning that animal has lived in its natural environment its whole life. That animal has eaten its natural diet, has been eating plants, herbs, all the natural things it's supposed to eat to grow its tissues to be healthy. And the animal has been happy, hasn't been under constraints that have caused stress, that have released certain hormones in it. Also, the consistency isn't as frequent as somebody in the civilization. The consistency might be one time a week, a couple times a week, might be every other 2 weeks, whenever it's available. It's not they can just go to the store and pick it up. It's whenever the universe, whenever nature, whenever the force that is above us allows it to be so. And this is the next level. I'm telling you, it's like I was never attached to the veganism label, because I always knew that was just another box. I always seen it as like, wait a minute, I don't want to be one of y'all. I ain't trying to be, because I seen the veganism movement early on. I was like, this is just a trend. This is something that people want to be a part of because they feel like they need to be a part of something, but they don't really know what it takes. They don't really know what it takes to be alive in nature. They don't really know nature. They just looking at it from a perspective through a phone, through a computer, but they don't really understand the real day-to-day life applications that it takes to conjure up food and to raise food for subsistence, or to just be in tune with the environment. They don't really know. They just have a cute idea like, oh, animals, stop hurting the animals. And I agree. Let's stop destroying and treating animals badly, because life is sacred. All life is sacred. Plants, animals, bacteria, everything is sacred. But that don't take away from the natural flow of life. There's still an equilibrium in this ecosystem. There's still some sort of chain reaction that occurs when you're tapping into conjuring and getting your own desires, and not desires, but your needs met. When you're trying to get your needs met, you're in a natural state. You're just operating off of instinct, but we don't operate from instinct. So most of us wouldn't even know that because we're in a too closed off environment to be able to tap into instinct. Instinct will guide you towards a different direction than what you've previously been taught. You've been taught to listen to people online. You've been taught to follow fat diets, to not eat this way, to if it has a certain seal on it that says USDA organic, then it must be good to eat. But that's not the bottom line, okay? There's a bigger picture. There's something more universal that you could tap into. You ain't got to be part of no people. You ain't got to be part of no group. You ain't got to be vegan. You ain't got to be alkaline vegan. You ain't got to be on you could do anything. You can get on Dr. Sebi's. You can get on the B6 diet. You could get on somebody's regimen. You know, you can get on somebody's regimen. But at the end of the day, there ain't nothing more supreme than getting on the regimen of nature. And nature don't discriminate, and everything is sacred. And I'm telling you, animals and plants are sacred to the same extent. Now, people want to say, okay, sentient life. Like if you're a sentient being, we don't want to see that murdered because they have feelings. But plants have feelings too. Plants communicate. Trees communicate. Trees send nutrition through their root system, depending on if a tree is more related to them than another tree, they'll actually help out that tree more, meaning they have consciousness, they have awareness, they tapped into something that you think they're not tapped into, but they are. But because they can't show and express like we can, we only are being empathetic to something that reflects closer to what we look like. So we might see a mammal and we might be like, have more compassion for that animal. But what about the compassion for the trees and the plants and the ecosystem? Because being vegan requires a civilization, and a civilization requires taking a lot from the environment. A civilization requires cutting down trees. A civilization requires chopping down entire ecosystems to plant and harvest monocrops to feed the people. That's civilization for you. Civilization is way more of a detriment than eating meat, because people in indigenous civilizations that are uncivilized, who have not been domesticated yet, do consume animals, but they are way less of a detriment to the earth than you are being a vegan in New York City. And I could bet my life on that, okay? Just because you're vegan, it ain't the bottom line. And I'm not saying don't use it as a tool to heal your body. Don't use it as a tool to practice and play around with it, figure out the truth. But I'm saying veganism absolutely is not the end all be all. And then you have other things that are gray areas, like, okay, what about scallop? Scallop don't got a nervous system, but it's considered animal product. Can I eat that? It has certain nutrients that my body may need. But then there's like, but now you're in the cult. Now you're in the vegan cult. And in the vegan cult, they say you can't do that. You can't do, if you want to be in the vegan cult, you can't do that to be a part of the vegan cult. You can't use your mind. You can't know how your body feels and try to figure out what your body needs, because you're only limited to the constraints of this box right here. And veganism is this box right here. And anything with this box you can do and you can try, but don't jump out of this box. Don't worry about how your body feels. Don't worry about how your health is doing. As long as you're within this box, you'll be straight, because it'll be within the ideology that we hold and unanimously have agreed upon that is correct. But that may be detrimental. Sometimes you might need to go outside of that box. Sometimes you might need to take a little venture over here to get this thing that this box ain't giving you. Sometimes this box is limiting you from growing outside the constraints of this box. So you might get too big for that box. You might need to get a bigger box. You might need to escape that box, because who you become and who you're becoming is greater than that box. You're tapping into a greater force in that box. I'm telling you, veganism is a box made by man. Man makes these labels. Man creates these ideologies. Nature don't have no label for your diet. Nature don't have no constraints for you. Nature, when you're in tune with it and in the flow of it, will guide you to whatever it is that you need, and it will send you everything that you need at the right and appropriate times for whatever environment you're in. That's a supreme consciousness. That's a supreme way of thinking. It ain't about no labels and nothing that I can package and sell you. Nothing that I could package and sell you is ideal for you. Because the only thing that I could try to even guide you to is to nature. And then nature will do the rest when you get in tune with it. It'll show you what to eat from the environment when you tune into this environment. And it might not be something that you have already put in the box to be acceptable. It might be outside of that box. And you could either go with the box that the society gave you, or you could go with the flow of the almighty oneness, which is nature. You could be in tune with Babylon, which is the diets and the names and the isms and all of that, or you could be in tune with nature. Out here, we don't have no boundaries. We don't have no boxes. Out here, the only thing that you got to do is vibrate at the frequency of this, and everything else shall follow, and everything is fair game. Everything is sacred. Everything is equal. And we don't gotta lock ourselves in no boxes to live out here. To live out here, you gotta be open. You gotta be going with the flow of things, or else if you stop going with the flow of nature, you ain't gonna be around too long, because everything in nature is abiding by this flow. It's only us when we outside of this box that we could do anything other than that. But I'm telling you, what do you want to be in tune with? You want to be in tune with the celebrities who are saying you should go vegan. You want to be in tune with Babylon, with civilization, with the new mainstream fads and codes, or you want to be in tune with the source of where everything comes from. You want to be in tune with the almighty oneness and the most supreme consciousness that you could ever amount to, that's outside of the boundaries and constraints of any label that you could ever create. And that's what I'm trying to be a part of. This is what I seek to be a part of. I don't want to be a part of no codes. I don't want to be a part of nothing civilization created. I don't want to be a part of none of that, because all that is sick, it's twisted, it's distorted. All of that has come from minds that have been domesticated. It's come from people and minds and teachings that have been teaching you to live backwards, that have put you in this place of being sick, in a place of not knowing who you are. Why would I ever want to be a part of that? Why would I ever want to be in tune with that or put myself in a box like that? I don't. Plain and simple, I just want to live in tune with nature. And when that becomes your top priority and you're really about it, nothing is going to stop you, and you won't care what people think. Oh, you ate a scallop? Oh, yes, I did. It came from my environment. I ate it and it gave me nutrition. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful that the universe even bestowed this piece of nutrition for me to even intake into my body to build this body up. And when the time comes, if I need to eat plants only, if I need to eat that herb to stimulate that organ, I definitely will. And if the time comes where I also equally need to harvest an animal for my environment, and there's no other options, I definitely will. And I am thankful to the universe for providing that all in its due time. But I am not going to be in no box, and I am not going to put no label over myself, because I'm a free mind. My mind is free to roam this plane. No constraints. I ain't got to put myself in a box. I already liberated myself from that way of thinking. Why would I jump into another box? I'm free. I'm free. My mind is free. You cannot cage me. I'm free. Okay? And that's all I got to say. Okay? And I hope that you stay open to this information. I hope that you stay open to this consciousness, because at the end of the day, when it's just you and nature and you ain't got nothing around you, you're going to need to tap into something other than the labels that we provided for ourselves. And my journey has turned out to be more of a spiritual journey at the end of the day. It's turned out to be a journey of more of a knowledge and awareness of self, rather than a dietary journey, or rather than the journey of choosing about what to eat. It's deeper than that for me. And I just want to be in tune with nature and the environment. And my heart really longs for that. You know, I don't want to be a part of that civilization and that system, because everybody's sick. They're not thinking right. You know, they're not thinking right. And so I can't really associate with people like that, because it's just, when you come out of that box, you see things differently, and you don't want to be a part of that no more. You know, you want to come somewhere where it aligns with your soul. So that's my message for today, you know, and I would just implore you to be open to that. Listen to the message, and if it resonates with you, then perhaps start applying some of that knowledge, you know, into your life, and start thinking that way. And just don't let yourself be boxed in, because at the end of the day, The person that created the box might pass away, and you might be looking for some guidance. How big is the box? Where does it end? I forgot, I don't know, is this okay, is that okay? But you're not even listening to yourself anymore. You're not listening to your body, you're not listening to your intuition, you're not even conscious of your environment, because all you're trying to do is fulfill the limitations and constraints of that box. So I gotta say for today, I hope you guys have a very blessed day, and I'm thankful that you are here to witness this. Okay? Take care. Peace.